Hello, I'm Eric Snodgrass, and thank you for watching this Ag Forecast video for South America, brought to you by Nutrien Ag Solutions. I want to start with some satellite-derived precipitation. So as I click play here, this is going to be the last week's worth of precipitation. And what I want you to focus in on is how much we've really missed in southern Brazil, Paraguay, parts of Uruguay, and sections of Argentina have just missed out on a lot of this precipitation. A lot of high atmospheric pressure has sat in this area, and it's really been preventative on getting the moisture back into that region. Now, I made a graphic this afternoon that takes a look back over the month of November into early December at satellite-derived total precipitation. And I apologize for those of you that are watching this outside of the United States that it is in inches, but let's just keep a close eye on where we see these higher values. Now, because of some precipitation early in November, central Argentina, parts of from Santa Fe over toward Cordoba, and then getting way down south here has seen some heavy rainfall at times. But as you get a little bit to the east of there, over into Buenos Aires province, we can actually see that some places here have seen, between an inch and up to 2 inches of precipitation. And that extends toward the Paraná River, and then getting here into Uruguay, Rio Grande do Sul, Santa Catarina, this is Paraná, and that right there is Sao Paulo. Now you get north of that into Mato Grosso do Sul, Goiás, Tocantins, Minas Gerais, and Mato Grosso, and we've seen quite a bit of precipitation. And these are not areas that I'm overly concerned about. It's what's going on in southern Brazil, and then I want to talk about what we're seeing in Argentina in the coming days and weeks. So let's go to our standard precipitation index. It's a drought indicator. And again, those are the states in southern Brazil that we have been most concerned with here because they're showing up as having pockets of very, very dry conditions. And since we're using this, I want to come back up to the top here of the iPad Crop Explorer, and let's look at some NDVI imagery. And I'm just going to click here first on Paraná. When we get in there, we can just take a closer look and see that throughout much of September, October, November, this year's NDVI measurements here from the satellite MODIS have been less than the average. Okay, so we're comparing it not only to average, but also last year as well. So here's 2021, here's 2020. So you can still see that, boy, it made a big jump up later in the year last year, but at this point, we're still below normal. Now, let's add to this a bit more discussion. Let's go back, and I'm going to go a little farther south. How about down here to Rio Grande do Sul? And now when we look at this map, we can see that we're about where we were last year. So there's some early season drought concerns. And given the forecast, getting this to really green up might be challenging to get back up here toward average. I just want to bring you up to speed on some of the things we're concerned about. Now, I'm going to give an explanation why in just a few seconds, but let's get the end result. We see that from the 12Z European model, a continuation of what's been observed, and that is that this region is going to continue to stay on the drier side of average. It's going to be quite wet in Brazil's eastern growing areas, near normal to wetter than normal across Mato Grosso and Mato Grosso do Sul. But pockets of Paraná to Santa Catarina into Rio Grande do Sul, Uruguay, and there's the Paraná River right there. You see that in and around those areas, the next 10 days continue to favor drier conditions. And it's all because of higher atmospheric pressure. Take a look at this. This is the 12Z Euro. You can see the big high right here. And as we just play this forward, it's just hard to bring in large, organized, low-pressure systems when generally higher pressure takes over. So I just played you through all the way to Sunday here. As we just look out into early next week, there's maybe some better chances of scattered storms Sunday, Monday into parts of Argentina, parts of Paraguay, and southern Brazil, but no big, organized area of heavy rain down here in southern Brazil. See it? It's better in Mato Grosso do Sul. That's what we're currently seeing next Monday. But getting out to Tuesday and Wednesday, a lot of scattered storms if you're kind of north of this line. But south of it, it's missing out. South of it here in Argentina, we're missing out. So playing through next week, that's the region we see high pressure take back over. And if you want to know why there's high pressure there, it is correlated to an important flow pattern across the southern hemisphere. And if you look, we can go back, mid-October, and you see this right here, these warm colors. That represents where we have high zonal momentum. That means strong westerly winds in that area. It's a part of the southern annular mode, or what we call the Antarctic Oscillation. And since mid-October, it has been positive. And it's way up here right now, hence the frequency of high pressure. Even though it's forecast to drop, it's not expected to go back down to below average, which would be a significant pattern change. And we know by studying this that the correlation with precipitation, and even the correlation with pressure here, with the AO means it's drier with higher pressure in this area. Now, the reason why I stress that is because it's not just this next week to 10 days that's dry. The models are very aggressively going after drier conditions here for week 2. That's a broad area of seeing drier than average conditions. And it's not just the European model out there at week 2. The GFS ensemble is practically the same. So we're continuing to see drought concerns in southern Brazil and in Argentina. Now, of course, if the next couple of weeks are looking dry like that, you can bet that the longer range is going to do the same thing. So from December 15 to January 15, that's going to be our area that we're going to watch most carefully for drought development. It's already developing here. We've seen wetter conditions back in November in this region, but along that Paraná River, which runs right about there, that's my area of greatest concern for Argentina. From there, over toward Cordoba and back toward Buenos Aires. Now, we've looked out longer term. We see the wetter weather to the north. Let's really stretch this out as we finish it up. The new NMME has been added to the long-range forecast. So we saw the European early this week. And now the January, February, March outlook. Again, can you see that shade into there? That's on the drier side of average. So the models are really seeing the extent of this La Nina, the cooler water in through here, plus the strong southern annular mode down there, keeping this area drier. And we're going to see that happen until this whole pattern begins to shift and break up and give us a new look. But the models are certainly hanging on to it, not only now, but through the end of the month of December and possibly a bit longer. So we'll worry about drought until something breaks down there. But at this point, no strong signals that it's going to shift over in parts of southern Brazil and Argentina to a wetter pattern. So I'll watch it. I'll report back again on Monday. Okay, thanks.